So meanwhile, I will just share it because this is also not for publication. But I was going through the whole book, and sometimes, all the verses have their own beauty. They have their own calling, and they have their own energy, where to absorb in my service. And this one, I thought, wow, it is only between Radhika and the maidservant. That is so confidential. There's nobody around, it's only Radhika and the maidservant. And they are doing very, very confidential exchanges. That is my aspiration also, to do this confidential service and to feel it in my heart, and by the mercy of Gurudev and all the Vaishnavas, that I can progress in this meditation and in these feelings. So are we set? Is okay now? We can start? Okay. So I have nothing set up, no plan, nothing. I'm completely empty in my head and in my heart. So give me a sign, I can start now?
Yes.
Okay, good. When may this maidservant, this aspiring maidservant, after washing your lotus feet and brushing your teeth with a twig, sit you in the bathroom, and having anointed you with very fragrant oils, massage you there. Again, it's Vilapa Kushmandali, verse 20. When may this maidservant, after washing your lotus feet and brushing your teeth with a twig, seat you in the bathroom, and having anointed you with very fragrant oils, massage you there. Purport. In the previous verse, Sri Raghunath had a vision of his service of washing Srimati's lotus feet. And in this verse, he sees himself, or rather herself, rinsing Srimati's mouth, brushing her teeth with a twig, taking her into another room and massaging her with fragrant oil there. How intense is his devotional yearning, and how vivid and genuine are his spiritual visions. When the sadhaka has such a vision, he feels as if the beloved deity takes him by the hand. The more purified the heart is, the more vivid these transcendental experiences are. By the mercy of Sri Gaura Sundara, all these beautiful things have been revealed by the Acharyas. Is there any greater cause of heart-rending lamentation? If I am deprived of the treasure they came to bring. Although I was born in Gaurasundara's age, it's a great cause of heart-rending lamentation that the treasure is there, but I cannot open the treasure chest. Although I am born at the right time, with the right circumstances, I have my Gurudev, but still, my heart is covered. My mind is foggy. And I'm so much in my ego that I cannot even cry. In the previous verse, Sri Raghunath Das had a vision of himself washing Sri Radhika's lotus feet in the morning. And when this vision disappears, he feels a greatly burning sensation in his heart. Seva diya prana rako. Save my life by giving me your devotional service. These aspirations for Radharani's devotional service do not awaken in an ordinary heart. They will awaken in the heart of a person who is able to completely give up his dependence on the material world.
Radhe Radhe. Can you hear me?
Taro Baba, yes, we can hear you very nicely.
Okay. I was yesterday, since quite a few people in Vrindavan asked me about essential things of Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, so I started to translate my Gurudev's Madhurya Kadambini, because I know that Gurudev stresses very much Vilapa Kusumanjali and Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, but I think especially for German devotees, it's very important to know how our journey through bhakti is taking place from Shraddha, Sadhusanga, Bhajana Kriya, Nishtha up to Prema. So I was just translating yesterday the first verse of Madhurya Kadambini, and it fits very beautifully what you just said. Baba is saying in the explanation that the cloud bank, Madhurya Kadambini, means the cloud bank, not clown, cloud bank of nectar is raining down. So what is this cloud bank? This cloud bank is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and it is raining down. And Vishwanath Chakravartipad, Srila Vishwanath Chakravartipad, he's praying that some drops of this nectar cloud, this rainy mercy cloud, some drops may also fall onto his heart. He who is a tree in a desert. So he compares himself very humbly to a tree in a desert, and may some drops of that cloud bank of mercy also fall on his heart. So then Baba is explaining, like you said, now coming to the point, that the heart is the receptacle for everything in bhakti. So Baba is saying you can be as intelligent as you like, you can have a huge mind, you can have huge mental power. So Baba is saying in this wonderful explanation to that cloud bank verse, first verse, that actually the mind and the intelligence, they cannot take on these drops of mercy. They cannot digest, and they cannot be used. This mercy, this cloud bank of mercy, this rain will fall on a dry bottom, on a dry floor when it touches the intelligence and the mind. So only the heart is the receptacle and the receptional, the functional part where all this mercy and all the nectar can come in. So this is what I like very much. Baba's explaining that all what we need takes place in the heart. And like Suniti always says, this has to be soft and full of emotions. So we have to do this transition from the mind and intelligence and come to the heart. And Baba said, only the heart is the receptacle of all that coming into bhakti. And it is also said that the Bhakti Ladder Beach is not given in the mind and it's not given in the intelligence, it's given in the heart. So this is very beautiful that we concentrate, like Gurudev said in Vrindavan. I don't know the chakra name, I know the heart chakra, Anuhata maybe, something like that. So the heart chakra, Anahata, sorry. So this should be the place where we should listen to, not with our ears, not with our mind, and not with our intelligence. So we should open the heart. Like Saint-Exupéry said, only with the heart. He was actually quite advanced. Only with the heart can we fathom and digest this very wonderful truth. I was just remembering when I translated it, how important Baba is making this point, that we have to come to the heart. Thank you.
Yes, Sevadiya Pranarako, save my life by giving me your devotion and service. These aspirations for Radharani's devotional service do not awaken in an ordinary heart. They will awaken in the heart of a person who is able to completely give up his dependence on the material world.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Gauravani.
I think up to here, Nandadas Babaji wants to actually give us a picture of the effect. How clean is our yearning and what we get. Like how intense in his devotional yearning he is. He's writing here. And in the same sentence he's writing, and how vivid and genuine are his spiritual visions. So he's giving a hint that the more clean the heart is, the more deep our yearning is, the more vivid the visions are. And the more clear, actually, we can see and feel what's going on. And he's explaining it actually in this part, which you just read. Up to the point, Sevadiya Pranarako. So, save my life. What could be more intense like that? I will give up my life if you don't save it by giving me your seva. What could be more intense? What wish could be more intense like this? So Srila Raghunadas is actually giving us a very important example. How deep actually our wish should be, and how clear are his visions, because he is giving everything. And then there's written that this actually cannot come into an ordinary person or an ordinary heart. It only will arise in the heart of a person who is able to completely give up his dependence on the material world. Because usually we depend on our job, we depend on our family, we depend on our intelligence, we depend on so many things, but what we do not depend on usually is on the mercy of Radharani. And if we only depend on the mercy of Radharani and nothing else anymore, then we will come up to that position. I just wanted to put it together again. Sorry. Jai Shri Radhe.
No, this is very beautiful, because by saying what you feel, we can feel what you feel.
Actually, I would like to feel it. I just put the words together in, so please give me your mercy so that I can really feel it one day.
The desire to feel it is the first desire, right? How can Radha Dasya find a place in a heart which is filled with worldly feelings? The working of Maya must have disappeared from the mind and intelligence. The Lord tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, the devotee who has offered his mind and intelligence to me is very dear to me. Here we have the answer, because I could feel many questions in the room. How can Maya disappear from my mind and intelligence? It's made of Maya, isn't it? More or less. But here is the answer. The devotee who has offered their mind and intelligence to me is very dear to me.
So Nidhi, may I have the permission to share something a little bit different, but very, 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 very inspiring?
You don't have to ask me, Tarun. It's an open field of sharings, you know that. But I like your humble attitude. Thank you for your sweetness.
Yeah, because it's something not. Yeah, you will see. So when I was in Vrindavan, I realized on my humble platform that for the past wonderful COVID years, I was not too much involved in the nectar of the holy name. So I was before very much involved in chanting, and chanting a lot, and chanting with taste, and chanting with a lot of inspiration. So somehow or another, by the influence of Maya and by my stupidness, this taste has a little gone. So I was thinking, my God, how can I fill this empty bucket again? And like you all know, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days in Braja and Radha Kunda, they are able these days to connect you and to load up your batteries again. So I have to humbly say, it may not, you will see. When I was in ISKCON, I don't want to talk about ISKCON now, of course, but when I was in ISKCON, there was one devotee. And when I was still at the end, short before the big transition came, when we all when Harikesh left and we all searched for newer ways and we all knew that something else must happen, I was reading one of the most inspiring books in my whole life, except of course for those of Baba and Narayan Maharaj. There is one book from Srila Vyasaki. It's called Radha Damodar Vilas Leela. It's a story about Vishnu Chand Swami. I think many of you or some of you know who Vishnu Chand Swami was. So he was a disciple of Prabhupada. And when you read this biography, I get goosebumps even now speaking about it. He was actually the first one in the whole history who went to Raganuga Bhakti, and he was chanting 8 to 12 to 14 hours a day, the holy name. And he had an amazing realization. He was connected to this traveling bus party of Radha Damodar. And he was always speaking. I'm now in the last part. 2 parts are there. The 3rd part will come out soon. So he always talks about how important it is to have an intimate relationship. And everyone, Vyasaki, he built that book with many quotations from many devotees, what they say and what they tell about Vishnu Chand Swami. And whatever I read says that he was so much absorbed in the holy name. He was doing kirtan and bhajan whole day, outside and inside, everywhere. And he was doing nothing else. Prabhupada told him not to do anything else, but to do kirtan and give classes. And he transformed the hearts of many devotees. And I was so inspired what he said, how the relationship should be there to Radha Damodar. Of course, he could not know about that, what we have now, but now I am able, and we are all able to combine these beautiful inspirations, because now we can sit down and we can do that with the Abhiman of our Siddha Deha. He had not the opportunity. He was waiting and waiting. When will that day come when the Swarup, like us, but he had no clear conception of that. And we now have this clear conception. But I was so much inspired. I started to read it actually in Vrindavan and because I had so much time. So I was so much inspired how much he went into the holy name. So for myself, I took it upon me to go more deeper in the chanting of the holy name. And like Gauravani just said, and Suniti also, the only way that we can relish all that nectar, and the only way these realizations will come when the heart is pure enough. And the heart only gets pure enough when we are focused in our sthaya path and when we are chanting the holy name and our Diksha mantras. But especially, I think I realized again for the 5,000th time that the holy name is the most powerful weapon to establish sweetness in the heart. And we are so lucky that we have now, compared to Vishnu Chand Swami, we have now the possibility to have accomplished saints in our midst, Srila Sadhu Maharaj and my Gurudev, who is still here guiding us with his books and in his Swarup. So we should, I was so inspired, and I want to do this also. I want to go more in the chanting of the holy name with this conception, with this Abhiman, with this, who am I? So I just wanted to share, if you're open enough, I know that Gurudev is recommending Vilapa Kusumanjali and Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, but sometimes it's also very cool. Gurudev also loved the stories of Vaishnavas, of exemplary Vaishnavas, and I wholeheartedly recommend these 2 books, Radha Damodar Vilas, and especially what Vishnu Chan is doing, what he's saying, how he's behaving towards the other people. This is such an inspiration for me, because I'm not full of love, but he was full of love in all the dealings. And he was so much disturbed by the demons on the street and by very rough and brutal people. But when you read how he dealt with them, you only think, my God, I hope you got the chance in your next life, because we all know that he left his body pretty early, that he got this chance again to come into contact with Raganuga Bhakti, because he was the only one. He was chastised. He was doing Ragamarg. So I just wanted to share. This is so beautiful for your practice of japa, if you read about his life. Sorry if I go a little bit out of the, but it touched me, and it still touches me, and I'm completely overwhelmed when I read this. And when you listen to his bhajans and kirtans, you feel what I'm talking about. And I think, like Mahaprabhu said, of course we have to do smaranam, but I neglected a little bit kirtanam. So I neglected a little bit japa and the holy name. So for me, I will focus on this more deeply now, to chant quality rounds, to chant in the morning my japa, and with this absorption that I am this little girl, although I'm such a big man. But this is our good fortune that we have this. Thank you for allowing me to share this, because it's really incredibly inspiring. Thank you.
Yes, beautiful. I always get inspiration when I hear from others who say, this is inspiring me. Immediately something comes, oh yes, I should also do that. So how can Radha Dasyam find a place in the heart which is filled with worldly feelings? The working of Maya must have disappeared from the mind and intelligence. The Lord tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, the devotee who has offered his mind and intelligence to me is very dear to me. And I think, yes, like you said, Tarun, this Vishnu Jan Maharaj, he was, or is, famous and still very inspiring to see how he offered his mind and intelligence completely. Radha Dasyam is even more difficult. Without full absorption, it cannot be accomplished. And what Baba means, I would like to add, of course, is to enter into the Siddha Deha. Everything else before that, all the levels before that, are our levels also. They are there also. And as we know, Gurudev is always encouraging us. We cannot wait until we are perfect. We must start practicing now also. It's part of our homework. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami was once absorbed in his bhajan in an open place on the bank of Shyamakunda, while Krishna stood right behind him. And sometimes they also write Radharani stood right behind him. While Krishna stood right behind him, relishing the sweetness of his devotees' love.
Sunidhi Radhika, this example, my Param Gurudev was painting that wonderful picture when Radhika was standing
Radhika,
behind him.
With the veil, with that.
Because of the tigers and the sun, that was actually the moment when the kutir system started, when they start to build the little huts. So this is very, very amazing, that Radhika appeared.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering a little bit why Baba says Krishna, but then I thought Radha Krishna.
Also different experience.
Do deha eka atma. Yeah, different experiences, that's right. So, they are relishing the sweetness of their devotees' love. Just then 2 tigers came to drink water from the kunda, passing right before Raghunath, who did not notice anything, being completely absorbed. Srila Sanatana Goswami saw what happened from a distance and said, Raghunath, Your fame will increase if you sit out here in the open. Bhajan devoid of humility is lifeless. Unless you engage body, words and mind, you cannot taste the rasa of bhajan.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
I was just wondering, because it begins with Radha Dasya is even more difficult. So you don't just have to give the mind and intelligence, like it is written here. You have to really give everything. And you have to be very sensitive, because actually this story is about a very sensitive, subtle point. So actually what Raghunadas is doing, he's just performing his bhajan. But he is performing it outside so deep that even Radharani is coming to protect him from the sun, from the heat of the sun. So if everyone will see that, he will become very famous. And this is actually a very subtle trap to become famous. So we have to be really aware of these subtle things also. I don't know what you feel, so please, maybe you can share your feelings.
You see that I was also wondering why Baba is saying now, why is it difficult? You know, on the one hand, it is the highest gift to all living beings, which was never given before, Unnata Jwala Rasa, but also it is very difficult, but only, Baba is saying only it is not, is it difficult? It's most difficult because, like Suniti said, for men and for women, it is most difficult because of the mind and the intelligence, but this is not the highest stage of difficulties. The highest stage of the difficulties is the false ego. But Gurudev always said, we cannot practice Manjari Bhav because they are the most selfless persons, but we are the most selfish person. So we, as long as we have this Purusha Abhiman, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. The woman also, a woman has a different kind of Purusha avatar, Abhiman. So what does that mean? It means when you observe yourself, like what are my actions aiming for? Aiming to please myself or aiming to please Krishna? So I'm 80% pleasing myself, and maybe if I'm arrogant enough, 20% I try to please otherwise. So again, Vishnuchan Swami had a wonderful sentence. He said, if you want to check how much surrendered you are, you always, when you do a word and when you do an action, you always have to remember yourself, is this pleasing to my Gurudev? So when I read this, I was thinking, oh my God, during the whole day, how many times I have to say, nope, nope, nope. And maybe sometimes I say yes. So this is actually why Baba is saying it is the most highest and the most beneficial path, Manjari path, but it is also the most difficult because, like Suniti said, we have to surrender our whole Abhiman, our whole existence. The false ego is covering the mind and the intelligence by thinking the world is a place for me. So this is the most difficult point. Therefore, Baba is saying it is difficult. It's only not difficult for someone who has the hammer in the hand and who is hammering away all that false ego stuff which is all around us. So therefore, it is very difficult.
So Sanatana Goswami saw what happened from a distance and said, Raghunath, your fame will increase if you sit out here in the open. Although Raghunath would not even notice it at that time, right? He didn't even notice what was going on. But he was protected by his beloved Guru, Sanatana Goswami. Unless you engage body, words and mind, You cannot taste the rasa of bhajan. Therefore stay in the cottage and meditate on Swamini's form, qualities and pastimes there. Sanatana Goswami, whose mind was sprinkled with love for Sri Raghunath, did not tell him what had actually happened. See, he did not tell him, oh, there were two tigers and Srimati Radhika and Krishna, they were trying to, protect you from the hot sun. He didn't even tell him. Why? Because he wouldn't even notice. He didn't even feel anything. But just to give an example for the coming generations, it is not necessary to show outside any kind of bhajan activities. It's good to do it in your own room and in your own small corners, or with Gurudev and the Sajatiya Sangha, of course. So Raghunath Das Goswami was never infected by this. But even in his Mana Shiksha, he was writing about the danger of false reputation and desire to be, recognized. And so therefore, also Harinam Prasad, he was asking me these days, why do devotees always play themselves small? Why do they always hide? Because in other groups, it's usually in another, energy. There's always some people who are very high and the others try to be followers. But here in our Sajatiya Sangha, it's not like that. We all try to be small. We all try to remember who we are. And even Gurudev, he often expresses that he rather relishes the exchanges with his own disciples as expansions of the desire of his Gurudev, and then to come to a platform that is friendly exchanges. But of course, if necessary, Nitai is speaking through him also in a strict way or in a, helpful way. Like Sanatana Goswami was saying this also to Raghunath Das Goswami. He was completely innocent and not feeling what has even happened because he was fully absorbed. So we see also Srimati Radhika and Mohan and Gurudev are helping us to accomplish a way of bhajan that is full of protection. And that is so sweet to feel. And also feeling good to be so protected and sheltered. And sometimes devotees ask themselves, and who is the most advanced? Who has most realizations in their Siddha Deha, in our group, in our Sangha, in all the disciples? It's very difficult to tell. It's very difficult to tell. Because nobody is interested in boasting or in sharing, any kind of glorious realizations, because it is not the way of Radha Dasyam. And Radha Dasyam, we always try to serve in a humble way.
So Niti, I have another question to this part, if you allow.
Sure, why not?
One may say, how is it that Sri Raghunath is actually completely absorbed in his meditation, but he doesn't know that Swamini is standing behind him?
That is too high for me. Maybe Gauranga Sunda or Jayananda Maharaj have some idea for that.
Perhaps it's a question of receiving, to allow to receive.
You mean they are playing hide and seek?
Can you read again, Suniti, the line, please?
Yes, sure. The whole story is that Srila Raghunath Das Goswami was once absorbed in his bhajan in an open place on the bank of Shyama-kunda, while Radha or Krishna stood right behind him, relishing the sweetness of their devotees' love. Just then, 2 tigers came to drink water from the kunda, passing by right before Raghunath, who did not notice anything, being completely absorbed. So the question is, how can he be so absorbed in his bhajan and there, or she or he is standing there at the same time?
Dashirate, maybe I have an idea.
Please, Gora, don't keep it.
Can I share? When we watched the Rasa dance, there are millions of gopis. And every gopi is relishing Krishna as if he is dancing with her. Right? But actually we know there is actually only one Krishna. So we can also ask, how is this possible? At the same time, millions of gopis relish to dance with Mohan, but he is dancing with millions of others. So this is the same question actually for me. How is that possible when Radha is just behind our Raghunath and he is relishing his seva towards her? So there is another meaning of qualities in that abode than we can relish. That in with one-to-one there is one Harinam is here, so he cannot be somewhere else. But in that case, with Radha and Mohan, it's a little bit different. It's it's a personality of Godhead, and she is his queen. So they are not in that kind limited like we are. They can be there and here, same time, and they are still here and there. And if we relish our seva, that's not meaning that others relish the same seva, but they relish the same Radhika. This is a little bit tricky to our mind, but this is the meaning of that. When millions of gopis dancing, they relish the same Mohan, but all individual to their hearts.
Beautiful.
Maybe
Very
it's
good.
like-
And because he is in Rasa and not in Aishwarya Bhav, he can only see his Swamini, right?
Yes. I think this topic, sorry if I grätsch rein, if I step in, this is a beautiful answer, of course, we have to, like Gora Sundar said, there is a multi-cosmos, it's multi-universe, so everyone, like Gauravani said, honestly speaking, there's not only one set of Radha and Krishna, so there are millions and millions and millions. To every one of us, we all have our own Ishtadevs. So this is an absolute and 100% fact. So I don't have to go to Suniti's Radharani, and Suniti doesn't have to go to my Radhika to make seva. We all have our own individual Ishtadevs. So this multi-dimensional thing is not to be comprehended by our mind. So another example, what is coming, you see, how many times do we read in Baba's books that and suddenly the vision vanishes and Raghunath is sitting there alone. So how can this happen? You can also ask, how can this happen? But we also have to understand that many points of Baba and of the Bhagavatam tikas and explanations are there to make also a very specific point. So what, and these points we have to hanker after. So what does it mean when we hear that you will honestly tell me that Raghunath is losing the connection again and again? Baba is telling us with these examples that we should be like that. We should hanker that it is a constant vision. Someone like Raghunath Das Goswami, who is a Nitya Parivar, who is an eternal associate, I'm honestly thinking he will not have a lot of, like interruption when we watch a movie and there's coming the commercials. So he will not have these interruptions. So this is there to teach us. This is one aspect to that it will teach us that we hanker for it. And also the next point, like Gauravani said, that he has his own set of Radha and Krishna, and he is so much absorbed in his bhajan. Baba is making a very specific point here. He is so much absorbed in his own bhajan that even if Radhika would come now and stand behind him, he would not recognize her. This is also a sign of total and complete absorption, and it's not contradictory, because like I said, the multidimensional cosmos is also there at Radhakund. Like Baba, he said, you would be amazed what you will see when you do a real parikrama. So, like, I think Gaurasundara started it and we finish it. This is this multi-dimensional concept our mind is not able to grasp. But also in Sadhaka Avesh, Baba wants to tell us that we should have this immense greed and this immense absorption, that even if Swamini personally will stand behind us, we will not notice her, because maybe we are cooking with another manjari 4 and Swamini is just out. We don't know anything what can happen, but it also shows that Raghunath is so absorbed in his bhajan, in his daibhav, in his fixation, that I think, that when in Bhagavatam is said, when you leave your body in Vrindavan, you will immediately go back home, back to Krishna and all these things. So these points are also there to teach us the glories of being something, And here, for me personally, it says, if I am so absorbed, like Raghunath Das Goswami, we are truly, truly safe and happy.
Jai Ho. I want to add this. This is not only when Radhika is giving shadow to our Raghunath or Rati Manjari. With this shadow, she is protecting us, because she takes care of his body. He lost the connection to this body, but this body is needed to give this book to us. In this way, Swamini takes care that we will get this book. So in fact, she is taking care of us, of every one of us, so that we will get this prasad, this view, because without our Raghunath, we will not enter. We have no a view in this abode, and by his mercy we get it. But in this absorption, in this intense vav, in this intense feelings he is entering, he forget his own body, so he is no more there. So Swamini knows this, and because she is protecting us with this act of mercy, she is taking care of this body, that he will stay as long as it needed in that body, even if forget. So we can see how much she is protecting every one of us with this shadow, so that we get the mercy of her.
Nice point.
It's her mercy.
Kanai, you raised your hand. Kanai, you wanted to say something. You raised your hand. Please share.
I wanted to say very similar to what Gauranga Sundara just said, that it was Gaura Sundara, sorry. That it was written before in the book that we have to offer our body, mind, and soul to Swamini. And now Raghunath Das is doing this. So now she has to take care of him because lions are close to him. Like, it's quite a danger, but he totally trusts in Swamini. He doesn't care for that. He's in his service. So now Swamini takes care that nothing happens to him. So it's like an indication that, for me, I feel that if we are focused on Swamini and on our eternal duty, our service to her, then the external things she will take care of. We don't need to bother. Like, I think Gurudev gave sometimes the example of Arjuna and the Pandavas before the battle. They sleep very well, although the others told that they will attack them in the night, but they didn't care. But Krishna, he was very worried, and he took care of the Pandavas, that nothing will happen. He protected them, and he was very shaky. But the Pandavas, they had very deep sleep. They don't worry because they fully surrender. Like Raghunath sitting on the Radha Kund, totally surrender to the service, to his real duty, totally surrender. And Radhika then has to take over. She has to take care of her child because it's totally dependent on her now. So she is there personally, not anybody else. If the child is crying, no other female can help. The mother has to come. So like this, Raghunath Das is not. He doesn't worry. He totally body, mind, soul, everything. So this is the example. Even the lions, he's protected. What more dangerous thing you can imagine? You're sitting outside in the sun and lions are coming. And you not even move a eyebrow.
Thank you.
It's,
Very wonderful. I'm glad
amazing.
I pushed you to share. Thank you. Wonderful.
Sorry.
No. Please share, man. Wonderful.
Yes, I also had this sweet feeling that when we, in any case, we are not we cannot even dream to be, close to Raghunath Das Goswami, but my Gurudev gave me this duty and this affirmation that you are a Dasi. So wherever I am on this journey, I can feel also that I am protected, I am loved, I am seen, and I am, I'm not alone. I like that sweet feelings. Also for myself, not only for Raghunath Das Goswami. For my bhajan, whatever it might be, there is someone who is watching and someone who is with me. They are not far away. They are very close.
In the case of Raghunath, we could also think, what is his good luck? If she protect his material body, is it really a protection of his material body? Is it a blessing for him? All his relatives are leaving, right? Rupa, Gauranga. So what is the reason to stay in that world? The reason is that he has a seva here. And so Swamini is protecting his seva to our blessing. It's not to protect his body. If he will be happy to leave this old body He stopped drinking, eating. He became blind at the end. But not to do some tapasya. No, because he lost the connection to this body. Because he is in the other abode. The only reason to protect this body is our blessing that we will get this book. Without this book, the Villa Kushmanjali, how we will have a view in that what we now discuss. We will still be on the level of the gopis. Manjari Bhav, we got from this book. Rupa, not so clear gave. He gave, how Gurudev explained, to his disciple, this inner view. And so she protect not this material body of Raghunath Das. She protect us in that moment, our spiritual development. There is no meaning of his material body without this. This was his service. This was why he came here in this abode, why they all came to give us Mahaprabhu's blessing. They are those who are giving the blessing to us. The blessing is from Mahaprabhu. He gave to Rupa, he gave to Raghunath Das, and so on and so on. And Gurudev still gives to us. But without this book, that will not happen. It will not be with us. So this is not a protection of a material body. It's really the protection of all the blessing Mahaprabhu came to give to us. And this is really our Swamini's blessing. This is what I feel in that. Raghunath has no interest in the material body anymore. He is in the prema. He is in the highest feelings, but he has a service to us, and so she protect him, this body, only to bless us. So this is when we have this view, when she protecting with her own, what is it, veil? Give shadow, then this shadow is actually our shadow. This is really, she's protecting us, not this old body of Raghunath.
Nice, huh? This is a nice meditation. Thank you, Gouda. Now comes a new revelation to Raghunath Das Goswami. Lacking his desired service, Sri Raghunath cries. But by Swamini's grace, he gets a transcendental vision of his Siddha service. Tulasi uses a soft twig of a mango tree to brush Sri Radhika's teeth and pours water on Swamini's hands from the nozzle of a golden pitcher. The water becomes red when it runs over Srimati's hands, and the fragrant water she pours over her face becomes even more fragrant afterwards. Swamini spits the water with which she flushed her mouth into a golden lota. With the fingers of her left hand, Tulasi wipes Swamini's curly locks away from her limitlessly beautiful and lustrous forehead, cheeks, and eyes, to avoid that she becomes overwhelmed by remembering Shyam through the bluish color of these locks. It is the service of Bhavamai, whose Mahabhav is thus welling up. When Tulsi takes Swamini into the bathroom after combing her hair, she gives Swamini a matchless savor or taste by showing her a sweet picture of Shyama Sundara there. Pointing at it with her finger, Tulasi says, "Your teeth look like pomegranate seeds that attract the parrot of Vrindavan. Here he is. Look at him."
Radhe Radhe.
Daddy.
I have a question here. Why Tulasi is wiping the hairs out of the face, protecting Swamini to be absorbed in something black, but then here now, she's actually showing the picture.
I think as what comes to me spontaneously, without any much deeply thinking, that it's because of service reasons, because she's flushing her mouth, she is wiping or flushing her face and brushing her teeth, so that at that moment she is taking the locks out of her vision, so she will become too absorbed and too how you say, drunken of love. I don't know, sounds maybe very rational.
Management of time.
Management of time, Gora says. I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe it's also a management of the rasa.
Mm-hmm. Tell us more about it.
Then the picture is like the substitute, that she cannot see the hair, the blackish thing anymore. So Swamini needs a substitute, like something else which reminds her on Krishna. If that's even necessary. I mean, I don't know. Just came to me.
I'm just happy to hear all your feelings and thoughts about this, because I have to learn, so please share. Jayananda Maharaj, I know, I can see in your face you have some ideas. Please share with us.
I'm relishing, your sweet with sharing. I think Manjari's is how to Swamini remember or relishing her dearest Mohan. So the way is not only one. The Kanai sharing us this and the picture also very good for remembrance, but also anything, something kind of udipana, something color of a bluish, blackish, or something Swamini remember the intimate pastime of with Mohan. That is, Swamini is more observed. And also, if picture is there, then Swamini feeling, oh, my Mohan is watching. Also, Mohan is kind of relishing my beauty by my dear Kinkari. So many Udipana is Manjari, Kinkari is showing or preparing. That's I'm feeling. Radha.
Also, I think it is depending on what is on the picture. Like Gauravani said, the rasa plays a role too. So who knows what kind of picture she is showing? This is like, we cannot know. So I think the content of the picture has something to do how to make Radhika blissful. So we don't know what is on the picture. There is definitely something on the picture which will make Radhika very, very happy. So many perspectives on that.
Radhe, and I have another idea. When Swamini sees her own black lock and she remembers Krishna, she is observed in him. And then when she was touched, maybe she feels his touch. You have to touch maybe her face to put the lock away. And then maybe this reminds her on a Leela where Krishna comes and put the lock away. Radhe, Radhe.
Wonderful.
Yep.
Radhe? Gauravani gave us a food for thought, for heart. Maybe 1 year with strong meditation, some real things start to appear, but
yes.
it's good. Or 2-3 years, who knows, we should be very patient, But as I see now, and which is coming, is the question of seva, actually. In this moment, this is the question of seva, because Tulasi wanted to comb Radhika. And she had to remove this hair in front of her eyes to do her seva in the proper way. Because she knew if the Radhika, like it's explained, it's already, if she see this hair in front of her eyes, who knows what will happen with her and her emotions, and I will not finish my seva. So she removed this, and then Baba is saying, when Tulasi takes Swamini into the bathroom after combing her hair, she gives Swamini matchless savor by showing her a sweet picture. So after she finished this seva, and it must be perfectly done, like Manjari Saloris are doing, then, I cannot let you alone. I know what I did. Now I will give you a picture. But this picture, when you see this picture, it will not make many distractions for my seva, but still you will flow in your love with your lover. But maybe in 1 or 2 years we can share again.
But Gauranga Sundar, I exactly have the same. Because if you have children and you like to was heißt das, kämmen?
Comb your hair.
Comb the hair of the children, and they see their favorite toy, you will have no chance to do this. So you have put the toy out of the view of the child, and then the child will be peaceful, sitting for finish your seva in this way. So if you remember Swamini on her Mohan, she has no peace to sit calm. And so you have to put away out of the view, and you have to manage this, that she will sit peacefully. So you'll have time to do your seva. This is the same what I feel. And after you finish what you explain is exactly, then you can give the toy, no problem.
Because in that moment, unmada, madness out of love can overwhelm Radhika. And then who knows what will happen. For sure, Tulasi will not be able to do this seva in that moment. And time is ticking, because next seva is waiting.
Yeah.
And meeting is waiting. So, Radha.
You see that management, huh? It's amazing. Swamini don't know. She forget the time and these things. If she listen to the flute, she will run without anything. You know this. She has the bangles on the legs, and everything is upside down. So this is the seva of the Manjari, has to take care of her. It's amazing.
Yeah, so we can feel that the service has many aspects, and the Manjaris are also the loving assistant to manage that Swamini is taken care of nicely, and she can have also all these emotions what she loves to have, and where she is vibrating in naturally, but also to a certain degree, so that at least Swamini can have her morning duties fulfilled. Vishaka had drawn that picture when she had just fallen in love with Krishna. In that time, that is called Purvarag, to fall in love, the first meeting. Tulasi reminds Swamini of the sweet history of that picture and says, Swamini, I remember you once wrote a letter to Krishna and saying, you are living in my house as a picture. Wherever I flee, there you are, standing to stop me with your stretched out arms.
So now we know.
Right? You are everywhere. In this way, Tulasi makes Swamini relish the sweetness of her previous pastimes and simultaneously washes her mouth and brushes her teeth. So we can imagine it's quite a challenge simultaneously.
Also, it's very wonderful that the scene depicted in the picture is actually that which is the most astonishing in the spiritual world. So the one, I think Vishaka, right? She drew it. So she depicted the first time they fell in love. Every day they fall in love. Every day it is new. Every day it is. We would say, oh my God, it's boring. They do everything again. But this is what is called anurag. This is the highest the highest love. So every day they fall in love. And honestly, what better way to distract in Radhika with such a wonderful scenery where she falls in love for the first time, because she has already maybe forgotten who that person is. So it was coming to me. Baba told me it depends on what is on the painting, what is on the picture. And Vishaka, she's not much different in the mood, so she knows what will bring the highest ecstasy to Swamini, to fall in love for the first time, every one of us, even in the material world. This is a very strong feeling and a very beautiful feeling too, if you're not too animalistic. But this is really something like a very, very beautiful scenery depicted, the first falling in love. So I think that is a marvelous seva to show her that photo painting.
Blessed is this maidservant. This is the internal beauty of Radha Dasya. Absorbed in identification with the Guru-given Siddha Swarup, one serves Swaminiji's Ujjvala Murti, her divine form. The aspirant should learn services like toothbrushing by meditating on how the eternally perfect maidservant Tulasi performs them. They are the gurus of the Yugala Seva that have descended from the Braja Nikunja along with Sriman Mahaprabhu to take the beginning devotees out of this material world into the Nikunja abode by teaching them Manjari Bhav. Or it says actually Manjari Bhav Sadhana. Tad Bhava Lipsuna Kaya Brajalo Kanal Sadhata. Those who desire that mood follow in the footsteps of the people of Braj, says Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shri Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami are these people of Braj that have given the sadhakas a perfect example of how to perform Manjari Seva both in the internal and external bodies.
Nitiji?
Yes.
So we can see here cleverness and expertise of Manjaris. And like you read in the beginning verse, we can see Tulsi Manjari is alone with Radhika. But Baba is giving advice how we sadhakas to practice Manjari Bhava sadhana by looking this scene. Not I am with Radharani and I am doing this, because still I'm not on that level. So the best practice is following those devotees, those Nitya Siddhas, Rajavasi, here, how to receive, because cleverness, we cannot learn cleverness. Cleverness is something which has to be received from the heart, because it is pure cleverness. And there is no difference between pure cleverness, artfulness, and pure love in the transcendental level. And this kind of expertises, cleverness, artfulness, seva, and so on, has to be received from the heart to the heart. Tarunji was talking about this in the beginning. So this is the process. So we have here perfect chance now that through listening, we see the bathroom, Tulsi, Radharani, and how expertly Tulsi is brushing the teeth, combing the hair. So in that way, our emotions, we are connecting with their emotions. And then transmission starts. Of course, sadhaka in Manjari Bhav sadhana is again always with his Guru Manjari and his Guru Manjari. And he's observing, because through observing, not imitating, but observing, he is learning by receiving through his emotions. Because if we just meditate that I'm sitting in the bathroom, Radhika is so merciful and she's allowed me. This is not the way of Manjari Bhav sadhana.
There's no anugatya then.
Then there is no anagatya. Why? Because we forgot one very important thing. We want to become Manjaris. We want to attain this Swarup Siddhi of Manjari, but we forget Prema. Manjari without Prema is not Manjari. And Prema is something which has to be infused in the heart of sadhaka, and Prema has specific demands. Everything, shortly to say, everything has to be done for the pleasure of beloved, in our case, Swamini. All my desires then, which appears in the heart, are focused on that primary desire, that my Radhika be happy. Then Manjari Bhava can start to grow, grow, grow. If we just try to cultivate only Manjari Bhava without knowing that the Prema is the fuel, like Gora Sundari said, is the fuel, then Manjari Bhava will not grow in the proper way. And this fuel of Prema is coming from the heart of Premika devotee. Then sadhaka, peacefully, patiently, humbly, and eagerly can observe how perfect Manjaris are exchanging the feelings with Radhika and how they are talking, looking at her, and how they are serving her. This is the position of Manjari Bhav Sadhaka. And before that, not before, simultaneously, qualities of Prema has to be nourished in the heart by the help of those who are already Premika devotees. So following is very important, because only through this kind of emotional following, let's say, emotional following, Manjari Bhava will grow. Not me and Radha. Not me and Krishna. Krishna is standing and looking how Raghunath is chanting, how Raghunath is absorbed. In whom? In his beloved, in Radharani. And he is attracted. I want to be in the close association of such kind of devotee who is so loyal and loving to my Radhika. So he is showing importance of following and receiving this kind of emotions from Radha Dasis. And these verses are so beautiful because we sadhakas, neophytes, beginners, we can be observers. And when we observe through observation, when we receive sufficient amount of pure feelings, then heart will be more and more crystal clear. Then, slowly but surely, seva starts to grow also together with the feelings. And so on and so on. So I just felt to share this.
Yeah.
Because you emphasize this Manjari Bhav, and then you said, no, Manjari Bhav sadhana. That's the point. Manjari Bhav sadhana.
Yeah. I just wanted to add this one. Now you say it yourself, because Baba very, very purposefully, he put this word there, sadhana, because sadhana means doing. So, and what is, like you said already, without sadhana, without anugatya, there is no sadhana. So we always have to remember that. So you beautifully explained how to put ourselves into this lila smaranam, always with someone who is there in front of us. That is very beautiful. Otherwise, it's Sakhi-bhav and it's rasa-bhasa, and it will not help and nourish our sthayi-bhav. It will not function. It will not work.
Actually, Tarun, Gurudev said that this kind of smarana is bodily consciousness.
Yes.
And
sure.
This kind of smarana will not bring devotee out of bodily consciousness.
No.
It will bring him even more deeply in the bodily consciousness. And he will be in illusion that he is practicing sadhana of lila smarana. It must be very, very clear.
I see that Udav Ji is also here. Udav, come on. I like your sharing. I like your input. Share something. I appreciate always when you say something. Maybe you have something to share. That would be wonderful. I like your calm and very cool and nice sharings. Maybe something is coming. If not, I don't want to force, but I just want to show my appreciation for your input. You're muted. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very good and deep point. And I want to say that Gurudev always encourages us to be the viewers, right? We are trying to be the viewers, not only here in our sadhaka, in our human life, to get out of some patterns and, difficult situations, to become the viewers. But also when we do our smaran, our remembrances, our approaching to be closer to Swamini's service, to Guru Manjari's service, there is a way, and I'm thankful that you are outlining it to make sure we are doing it in the proper sequence. Gauravani, you wanted to say something?
I just, actually, what Gauranga Sundara said, I just wanted to add. Actually, Sriman Mahaprabhu himself was showing this in Gambhira Lila, when he was actually jumping in the ocean. Afterwards, when the devotees put him out, he was actually in his remembrance what he saw. And he saw him standing there. He was just watching the scene. He was just watching the scene. Like you said, we are the viewer. And then he was waiting that actually another Manjari was ordering him. So like this. So he was actually just the viewer. So he himself actually was giving the example.
And why? Gurudev now told us why. Because the inner reason and the foremost inner reason for Mahaprabhu to come, like Gurudev told us, is to understand and to taste the love Radhika in, these three inner reasons, but basically he has to taste what actually the manjaris taste. So he is the observer, like Gauranga Sundara just said. Mahaprabhu cannot do anything else because he is that third identity. This Krishna coming as a devotee eternally. Our mind is again boggled. But here he only can experience the sweetness of Radhika, the love she has for Krishna. He can only experience that if he goes into Manjari Bhav. Otherwise, it is not possible. Of course, in the outside world, not many people or not a lot of people will say and confirm this, but this is the Rasik explanation, and this is the only explanation which allows that Mahaprabhu can taste the highest limit of Radhika's Madanakya Mahabhav when he experiences what the Manjari experience, because they are so close with Swamini. So he has to be in the role of the observer. And honestly speaking, when we see it, he never puts himself in the complete picture. You see it, the talks with Rai Ramananda. He always gives the devotee the point. He always is an Anugatya. Ramananda Roy is explaining, Swarup Damodar is explaining. So he shows perfectly by example what is Anugatya. He will never, and then he closes the mouth and all these things, So he's showing us perfectly how to be always an Anugatya. And he is Krishna himself, showing us in the mood of Radhika as a practicing devotee in Manjari Bhav, and he came to give us that. So this is also a very remarkable point, that only in Tatatmika, this beautiful oneness in love with Swamini can help him out of that misery that he wants to experience, this pleasure of Swamini.
So, the aspirant should learn services like toothbrushing by meditating on how the eternally perfect maidservant Tulasi performs them. So this is also, I feel there's two sides in there. We are the aspirants. We try to learn by observing and meditating how they are doing it. At the same time, there is some desire in the first place. And then we observe. And if we hear about it just now, not even maybe some inner picture will come. But just hearing about it, it makes my heart happy and joyful and very much attracted. Learning how the eternally perfect maidservant Tulasi performs them. They are the gurus of the Yugala Seva that have descended from the Braja Nikunja, from Goloka Vrindavan, along with Sriman Mahaprabhu, to take the neophyte devotees out of this material world into the Nikunja abode by teaching them Manjari Bhav Sadhana.
Jai Shri Radhe. I just had this idea. This is actually the real TV. If we watch TV, we should watch that program actually. Our hero, Tulasi Manjari, in the Seva of Swamini. And we want to follow the hero one day by seeing it, by actually always meditating on it. The wish in the heart will grow one day I also want to be in that position. So I ask my Gurudev if he could make it possible for me. This is the real TV show.
Can you make such a TV show?
Everybody has to make himself. And you don't need a TV, I can say.
It's the screen of your heart. I have to scratch on it, Gauravani.
Actually, the program is in Vilapku Sumanjali.
It's free of charge. It only requires heart.
Yes, and I like also the next sentence. Those who desire that mood follow in the footsteps of the people of Vrindavan. And Sri Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami, and I will also put my Guru, our Guru Manjari, are these people of Vrindavan that have given the sadhakas a perfect example of how to perform Manjari Seva both in the internal and in the external bodies.
So Sunitiji,
Yes?
it is you read those who desire that mood.
Yes.
So those devotees who really desire that mood, they will completely naturally accept the mood of following. If we have other conceptions and our desire is really not clear that we want Manjari mood, and it's mixed with impersonal conceptions or other conceptions, then always it will be some resistance in the heart. I cannot follow it. I don't want it. I will lose my independence. It's not this. I not that. I want only to be with Radhika. I don't care for others, and so on and so on. Different kind of things. But those who really have genuine desire, it's natural. I want to follow the feelings of those who are already there, for whom all these feelings are, and sevas and relationship with Swamini is natural. So this is simplicity. So we can check our heart. That's the point. Is it my desire for that mood of Manjari Bhava is really clear to me, first of all? Or it's mixed and polluted or covered with other things? Because when real genuine desire appears, then flow starts without force.
So we can also see here, Gauranga Sundara, how magnanimous actually Srila Rupa Goswami is. So, and again, he is showing this principle of sharing. He wrote the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and he himself is Rupa Manjari, but he is so magnanimous that he knows that there will be a lot of people who are not in the mood of Manjari Bhav. So why would he write Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? He writes that beautiful Tat Lipsuna verse that you should follow the inhabitants of Braja and the eternal associates. But he knows fully well that it doesn't need to write that, because he could have also written just follow Manjari Bhav and that's it. But his magnanimosity of his heart was so great that he knew that many jivas will strive for Vatsalya Bhav, for Sakya Bhav, even for Sakhi Bhav in Madhurya Ras. So he was delegating this task to Raghunath Das Goswami, and he was so merciful and so magnanimous that everyone, like Mahaprabhu is saying, that the bhav of everyone is the best bhav for themselves, so that they also can benefit vastly from from Radha, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjvala Lilamani. So then this task was given to Raghunath Das Goswami for those, like you said, who really want to practice Manjari Bhav sadhana. And all of them are sitting here. Otherwise, we would not be sitting here on a Sunday afternoon. This is 100% fact. So we received this mercy, and we now have the possibility to do this. So, but it was just coming to me how actually magnanimous Rupa Goswami his vision must have been. You know, I have to speak for myself. I tend to be quite narrow-minded, and many times, only Manjari Bhav, and yes, only Manjari Bhav for me and for our Sangha, but everyone has his place in the divine place. So if Rupa Goswami can write this, we should always, what I learned from that we should always be tolerant and be nice to people who are practicing other bhavs. But when we are in Sachati and Snigdha Sangha, we are in the best association for our own bhav. That is what I just wanted to say.
In connection to that, what Gauranga Sundara also said, and you now said, Saram Baba, I think it's most important that we also have this clear vision of the difference, what is actually coming from a sadhaka and what is coming from the Manjari. In the case of our Guru also. So actually, do we want to follow outside or do we want to follow inside? Also here is written, sometimes outside, sometimes inside. Of course, as sadhakas, we want to follow first of all outside to come inside. But then we have to differentiate also. And sometimes I have the feeling, for me it's not so easy to, put these things very clear. So I think it's very important to have this very, very clear for myself, not for others. It's not for others. I don't have to take care of others. I have to make it for myself very clear. If I'm concentrated on others, except the one you want to follow, then actually you will lose the clear vision. So we have to be very, very careful to actually see this in the right light with the help of the person we want to follow and we pray to. And this is again, we are just watching the scene, we are not the doers. Although we may learn a lot and we may think, oh, now I know something, now I should actually watch over others. No, don't do it. Just stay in your self-reflection. So for me, it's much more easy, I can say, when I try again and again to not be with my thoughts in other persons. Just be in my situation and take shelter to go the way, so that the next step is very, very clear by the mercy light of Gurudev, by the mercy light of our acharyas, and of course this mercy light we know where it comes from Swamini.
Radhe Radhe, thank you all. I think it was a very rich and many-pointed meeting today and sharing. And I missed our Gurudev, but he is with us. He always says, I'm always with you. But yes, we do our service as best as we can in all situations. Thank you all for participating so lively, for all your well-wishing, lovely, smiling faces, and all your services and our great appreciation also to our German ashram, Devidam, where Udavji and all the Dasis were doing a nice program. I heard it was amazing and you feel all very enlightened and you are shining from your hearts, and we are very, very missing you also. Thank you. And yes, so happy to be in your all association. And
Thank you,
growing
Dmitri.
together.
And I want to say thank you to Uddhava, who is with us, inspire us, and we can be on his lips to listen to his nectar. It's so beautiful. And thank you for this wonderful lecture today.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Radhe.